The War Report. Philadelphia. We often hear that political chaos is just a distraction, but a recent analysis suggests the stakes are much higher than they appear. A columnist for The Guardian is warning that President Trump's lack of a traditional ideology shouldn't be mistaken for harmlessness. Instead, she argues that his leadership style creates a circus of death and chaos that redefines what modern authoritarianism looks like for foundational black Americans here in Philly. This isn't just about national headlines. In a city where we are pushing for economic equity and trying to navigate already stretched resources being used to support immigrant populations, instability at the top has real consequences. Unpredictable governance often leads to weakened protections for FBA communities and fewer guardrails against biases that disproportionately impact FBA workers and families. When the federal system is in a state of constant churn, the resources and legal oversight needed for justice and community investment often disappear. As the political landscape continues to shift, our focus must remain on building FBA economic foundations and staying ahead of the technology curve. Protecting our future means staying informed and ensuring that no matter the chaos in Washington, foundational black Americans are positioned to secure our own opportunities and growth. Philadelphia needs to stay focused on building FBA power, not getting pulled off course by the distractions coming out of Washington. Instead of being consumed by the constant turnover in Trump's administration, we should keep our attention on what really matters. Making sure FBA students and families are positioned to compete in AI, tech, and other high-growth fields. A strong city and state government should be working with purpose and consistency to create real pathways into those careers. That means investing in schools, training programs, internships, digital skills, and public-private partnerships that help FBA youth build a future in the industries driving tomorrow's economy. When leadership at the top becomes chaotic, the answer is not to lose focus. It is to double down on local strategy, civic discipline, and long-term planning. FBA communities cannot afford to let outside disturbances distract from the urgent need to prepare our students for the AI era and secure a focused, accountable government that delivers for Philadelphia. To our LGBTQIA neighbors, your rights as Americans deserve respect, dignity, and full protection under the law. The foundational black American community recognizes that every person should be treated fairly, protected from discrimination, and able to live without fear of harassment or violence. At the same time, we draw a firm line when it comes to messaging sexual choice to children. Our children deserve age-appropriate education, not ideological pressure or adult subject matter presented in ways that blur boundaries or override family responsibility. We believe schools and public institutions must remain focused on literacy, math, civic understanding, and the tools young people need to thrive. On this issue, we stand united. We will oppose administrators, policymakers, or institutions that introduce teachings we believe are inappropriate for children in public education or in any space where our children gather. Respect for civil rights must never come at the expense of protecting childhood innocence and parental authority. Our position is simple. Protect the rights of adults, protect the boundaries of children, and keep public institutions accountable to the communities they serve. In a city built on the strength of our ancestors, the question remains, what message are we teaching the next generation to carry? Philadelphia should commit to a citywide curriculum that equips FBA children with critical thinking skills and a clear understanding of the systemic injustices that have shaped and continue to affect our communities. This is not just about classroom instruction. It is about preparing our youth to analyze the world around them, recognize inequity, and develop the intellectual discipline needed to challenge it. As the economy continues shifting toward AI and other technology-driven industries, our children must be trained to think deeply, communicate clearly, and understand the structures that influence opportunity and access. A strong curriculum should help them connect history, policy, economics, and technology to the realities FBA communities face every day. We are not simply preparing children to succeed in the future. We are preparing them to understand it, question it, and shape it. When we invest in their minds today, we strengthen the foundation for justice, leadership, and collective progress for generations to come. In West Philly, a new partnership is helping turn neighborhood walls into classrooms for the next generation of FBA creators. Mural Arts Philadelphia and Yay Philly are combining street art with digital technology to give FBA youth a powerful way to reclaim local space, express their vision, and build pathways beyond systems that have too often failed them. For FBA families in Philadelphia, this is more than an arts initiative. It is a direct investment in our future. It moves our young people from being passive digital consumers to becoming skilled creators, thinkers, and innovators with the tools to shape culture and opportunity on their own terms. By blending digital media, design, and public art, the program helps close the technology gap and prepares FBA youth for careers in an AI-driven economy. That kind of training matters because it builds confidence, technical skill, and real access to industries that will define the future. Economically, this creates a pathway into creative technology that can strengthen our neighborhoods from within. At its best, this work is about more than murals. It is about developing ownership, mastery, and long-term economic power for FBA community. Foundational Black Americans are on the front lines, tirelessly advocating for our teens and young adults who face a relentless grind of systemic oppression every single day. We're speaking out because our FBA youth are frustrated, trapped by underfunded schools that shortchange their potential, a glaring lack of jobs that locks them out of opportunity, and a web of ills like crumbling infrastructure, biased policing, and healthcare gaps that hit our communities hardest. This isn't just arrested development, it's a deliberate chokehold keeping our brightest minds from breaking through. Philadelphia pours resources into nonprofits like No Mo Ya Philly and Level Up, commendable efforts that give our teens tools, mentorship, and a shot at creative tech or entrepreneurship. But what's rarely said out loud is the glass ceiling waiting at the top. Discriminatory banks that deny loans to black-led ventures, venture capitalists who ghost FBA innovators while funding everyone else, and a historically racist system that stays invisible yet ever present. Talented FBA youth pour their hearts into these programs only to slam into the same hidden barriers their ancestors fought. We're done whispering about it. FBA advocates are pushing for accountability, demanding city contracts prioritize our entrepreneurs, fair lending reforms that actually work, and VC pipelines that invest in our vision. Our teens deserve more than programs. They deserve ownership, capital, and power. The fight continues. Join us in breaking that ceiling for good. The trauma of arrested development, assimilation, crash outs, and the breach standards among us. As a foundational Black American forged in the crucible of this nation's unyielding racist machinery, I carry the weight of Neely Fuller's piercing truth. White supremacy is a comprehensive system designed to arrest our development across every arena of human endeavor: physical, mental, emotional, economic, cultural, spiritual. From cradle to grave, it stunts us, measuring our worth by proximity to whiteness, denying us full humanity while dangling the mirage of acceptance. This is no abstract theory. It's the lived trauma etched into our bones, the intergenerational sabotage that leaves FBA communities fractured, our potential cage. The assimilation trap, detachment as survival. In response, many of us too many detach. We assimilate not out of triumph, but as a desperate bid for survival. We learn the code, straighten our hair, soften our speech, chase credentials from systems built to gatekeep us, and bury the raw ache of our trauma beneath layers of performative normalcy. This dissociation is a psychic armor. We tell ourselves we've made it: college degrees, corner offices, suburban cul-de-sacs, while the system whispers approval, but this detachment is itself a deeper wound. By disavowing our pain, we orphan our own history, becoming strangers to the rage that birthed our ancestors' resistance. We trade the vivid language of trauma, its poetry of fury, grief, and unbowed defiance for the bland dialect of assimilation. Just work harder. Pull yourself up. Don't play the race card. In this exile, we lose the thread connecting us to our people, floating above the very soil that nourishes our roots. The crash outs, unassimilated fire in the penitentiaries, yet not all been. Pockets of us, especially our FBA youth, refuse the script. They crash out not from weakness, but from the unfiltered collision of trauma with reality. Unfunded schools breed illiteracy. Job deserts breed desperation. Police terror breeds paranoia. Without the numbing balm of assimilation, they feel every barb acutely. The system funnels them into penitentiaries, those modern plantations where 11-year-olds become lifers, their bodies warehoused while their spirits scream the language we assimilators have forgotten. These are not mere criminals. They are the undetached. The ones whose trauma speaks in outbursts, gang affiliations, street economies, cycles of violence that echo the unresolved pain of centuries. FBA youth fill these cells at disproportionate rates because assimilation's promise rings hollow in neighborhoods where opportunity is a myth. They crash because detachment feels like betrayal. The dichotomy's noise, a symphony for the oppressors. This rigid split assimilator versus crash out creates a cacophony that serves the noisemakers perfectly. The system amplifies it. Media paints crash outs as thugs unworthy of redemption, assimilators as exceptions proving racism's end. We're pitted against each other, our collective trauma fragmented into stereotypes. Assimilators shame the crash outs as holding us back. Crash outs resent assimilators as sellouts, the real architects of our arrested development. Banks redlining our blocks, schools miseducating our minds, policies criminalizing our survival. Watch gleefully as we exhaust ourselves in this false binary. The noise drowns out unity, ensuring no clear demand for reparative justice ever rises above the din. The breach standard trauma is translated unity's bridge, but there is a third path embodied in the one who stands in the breach. The rare soul who cycles through correctional facilities from age 11, hardened by the crash-out life, yet unerased by it. This is no romantic hero, but a battle-scarred translator of trauma through the assimilation gauntlet, parole hearings, job board, GED snatched between bids. They've tasted both worlds. They've worn the suit for job interviews and the jumpsuit for court dates, mastered corporate jargon and street cipher. Crucially, they haven't lost the language of trauma where assimilators muted, crash outs howled. The breach standard speaks it fluently, a dialect blending vulnerability with strategy, pain with purpose. These breach standards are our fulcrum. In group homes, reentry programs, or corner ciphers, they connect with crash outs, not with judgment, but recognition. I see you because I was you. They infiltrate assimilation's corridors, nonprofits, policy tables, even VC pitches carrying the unvarnished truth. Our Arrested Development demands not charity but systemic dismantling. They mentor FBA youth teetering on the edge, teaching crash outs to channel fire and decode murals or movements, while awakening assimilators to their complicity and detachment. They are the living rebuttal to the dichotomy, proving trauma need not divide but can forge unbreakable solidarity. A call to reclaim our full humanity. FBA kin, our Arrested Development is not fate. It's a design we can unmake, reject assimilation's amnesia, and crash out's isolation. Honor the breach standards among us. Amplify their voices. Let their fluency heal the split, turning trauma's roar into a unified demand, full development on our terms. From the block to the boardroom, we rebuild wholeness. This system fears its most, not our noise, but our harmony. Rise, connect, and stand.